Welcome to Guided Spirit Conversations. I'm your host, Marla Goldberg. This podcast has been created with you in mind to acquaint you with some of the most incredible metaphysicians and spiritual leaders from around the globe who have helped others change their lives. In this interactive hour, you will be offered insights and techniques to help you make a difference in your life. Don't forget to subscribe to the show on your favorite listening platform. And here we go, on to the show. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to Guided Spirit Conversations. I'm your host, Marla Goldberg. Today, I am so excited to have back two of the loveliest people I know, Endre Balogh and Ness Carroll, who are both what you would call Renaissance people. They're both known for their individual accomplishments as well as their collaborative efforts. Endre is an internationally renowned virtuoso violinist, as well as an award-winning photographer. And I'm going to add in here, because I'm not seeing it in this write-up, he's also an artist, making the most incredible sacred geometry. And Ness. Oh, I forgot the rest of Endre's bio. I apologize. So he also travels and performs throughout the world as a classical concert violinist and is also a member of the Paris... I'll let you say it.
Paris Chanson.
Thank you. You do it much better than I. A group of singers and musicians specializing in French and Russian popular music. Ness is known for originating the SYNERGENICS method of life coaching and life coaching training, and for bringing into being the INNERVERSE, and completely unrelated, playing poker at a high skill, not a high stake, level that brought her into the World Series of Poker. Together, Endre and Ness have published their book, Synergeometry, what launched last year in 2021, which is a beautiful compilation of sacred geometry images associated with meditations that were downloaded through Ness. They also released the Transformational Tarot recently and are currently working on a meditation app based on Synergeometry. Welcome, Ness. Welcome, Endre. So happy to have you back. Oh, my goodness. You guys are not only so amazing, but you're so much fun.
You too, Marla. We love talking with you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Okay, let's start at the beginning. How did you two meet? How did you start collaborating together? And I'm going to let Ness talk first.
Well, Endre and I are friends for many, many, many years. We were brought together through the rebirthing breath work and continued to work together and became very, very close friends, and over the years, collaborators.
And so how does it work with you two? Because Ness and Endre, you come from two different specialities, let's say, but yet you've been able to seamlessly weave them together in your book and your tarot. So, Endre, why don't you answer that one?
Well, it works seamlessly because, first of all, we're attuned so well, and what I do is the visual aspect of it, and Ness she downloads the instructions and the words, the meditations from Spirit. And so I don't have anything to do with that, and she doesn't have anything to do with what I do, so it works perfectly.
Well, lovely. Apparently so. When Endre creates his extraordinarily beautiful images that are also portals to interdimensional and interdimensional states, all I have to do is expand my state when I'm looking at one of his images, and Spirit uses my vocabulary to describe the images in words such that somebody reading it would have the same impact as if they were looking at the image.
And that's Synergeometry. So if you all want to go and check out this book, which is extraordinarily beautiful.
I can show you the cover here.
That's my favorite color.
Right.
How beautiful is that? So go to synergeometry.com. They have images on there. You can see samples from the book. And once you see it, you're not going to want to leave it there. You're going to want to order it. I'm not telling you what to do, but I have a feeling that's what you'll do when you see
It's
it.
interesting, Marla, that people and we're very grateful for their support, supported our first successful Kickstarter campaign. When they receive the book, they say that they're only able to work with 1 or 2 images at a time because their experience with them is so profound.
Well, it's a powerful,
Endre,
powerful book. Look at that.
yeah.
Amazing.
We
Just
like to think
phenomenal.
of it as something from the lost and profound department.
Lost and profound.
Yeah, right.
That's so funny. It's beautiful. It's so beautiful. Now you've got the transformational tarot. So let's
Right.
talk about the new cards that you have. What inspired you, first of all, to start working with a card deck?
Well, we saw that there was a tremendous interest on Kickstarter in tarot decks, and we saw that there were a wide variety of decks, but a lot of them dark images, strange magic, what can I say? But we wanted to put something out there that would be unique in that it would be a transformational tool in and of itself. So somebody could use it for tarot and they could use it for gaming because it has the four suits, although we've changed the suits from diamonds, spades, clubs, and hearts. We've changed them to connections, harmony, power, and vision. But each of the cards, including the major arcana, which we've also transformed, has associated with it a declaration or affirmation that can also be used as an ongoing spiritual practice. So if somebody's led to a card, they don't want to use it as a tarot, they just want to use it as a meditation or transformation deck, they can take a card, they can read the affirmation, and they can use it as a practice ongoingly.
That sounds amazing. Are the images on Endre, are they from the book, or do you have brand new images for these cards?
Well, they're actually modified from my sacred geometries. I've on my website there are I've only posted up about over 800, but I've created created 937 so far. So you haven't seen one, Ness. I have another one for you. So,
how exciting!
and so what we did, with my own meditative processes, and then with the guidance of Ness, we figured out which of my sacred geometries that I had made by then would be best for each card. They do in a very loose sense track the tarot, the standard tarot that people know, but it's only very loosely. And so for instance, the first card is called, where is it there? Meditation. That would be the equivalent to the Fool, but so there's a certain characteristic in the sacred geometry that might remind one of that card, the Fool, because of the way and then into each one we have the eye of wisdom, because it's to draw people into the card, and then as you can see at the bottom, I don't know,
we can't see I can't see the writing, but if
why don't
you
read what it says?
Well, okay, so I am the open door to accessing inner and interdimensional states.
I love that.
So you'll see in the sacred geometry, Endre, could you hold it up again for a second? You'll see in the sacred geometry that there are the colors of the jester or the fool. And the concept is you're a fool if you don't meditate. Just saying.
That's so funny. And here's the great news about meditation. You can do it for 2 minutes. You can do it for 2 hours based on what your time and your availability is. So, yes, meditation is powerful.
For instance, the second one is manifestation.
Oh, love it.
And it has all the layers of manifestation that you would go through in universal physics.
These are this is the major arcana. I can going backward. Let's see if I can find. Well, here's the third card, fourth card. This is.
Oh, I love that.
Can you read what that one says, please?
I am the eye of the beholder, seeing all.
And that's why the eye is in every single one of the images.
It's powerful. That is really powerful. Not only beautiful, but powerful.
Yeah, and well, let's see. Where's I can show you one of Ness's favorite cards if I can find it. Oh yeah,
I know which one that is.
yeah. This is reincarnation.
Okay. That's powerful. What does it say for reincarnation?
I am life's experience in multiple dimensions simultaneously.
Wow. That's pretty amazing. For those of you who are just listening and are not watching the video, we have a video of the cards and how to use them in the blog that's attached. So please press on it, watch it. It's only 2 minutes and I think 38 seconds. And you can get a full idea about these beautiful cards, or go to my YouTube channel and watch this video of this podcast so that you can see these amazing images and listen to the words as you're seeing the images. They're beautiful.
Thank you.
So-
and these are the different suits. So this is the first suit. This is
Loving.
Connections.
connections. And
So
this-
loving is, oh, that's connections. Okay.
So then, as they go, then there'll be the same sacred geometry in 2, and then 3.
Okay. Very much like playing cards.
Right. Exactly. And
Well,
so, but that's the
Playing
same.
cards came from the tarot deck and vice versa.
It's
Yeah.
funny. My first tarot reading was done with playing cards.
Uh-huh.
So
There you
when
go.
I was 14 years old. Yes. Oh,
this-
that's beautiful.
That's harmony. That's the ace of harmony.
Yeah.
Mm,
then-
Wow.
The next suit after that. Well, here, so you can see here's, for instance, here's 14. That's so that you see how it works.
Yes.
Each one also has an affirmation at the bottom. So this one, 14, is, oh boy, is called continuing, and I am the continuity of life. So
It's
Nice.
really the only tarot deck that exists that has an affirmation on every card, so that you don't have to wonder what you're reading. It tells you. That
I was going to just look at this one.
that's the ace of power.
That is gorgeous. These images are so amazing, I have to say. And then the words together just bring additional power into it.
and then this
We're
is
doing
the,
our best here.
the vision.
That is the ace of vision.
Wow. That is really beautiful. What does it say, Endre, at the bottom?
This is remembering, and I am the remembrance of all that has gone before. I am the remembrance of all that has gone before.
Wow.
I believe the key to true vision is the remembrance of everything that's gone before, so that you can include it in your ability to see the future in the present.
Yes. And things have gone before because we're all reincarnated, right?
Right,
Well,
right.
Multiple
one
times.
assumes that.
Well, I believe that. So
Well, right.
I'm beyond assumption. I believe that we do reincarnate.
Right, contrary to popular opinion, but yes.
To some people's opinion, yes.
The back of each card is the symbol of infinity. So that
Which
also. This is the back of all the cards.
Oh, okay. Wow. That is beautiful. So when they can find the tarot deck, you can purchase that at
Synergeometry.com.
that's SYNERGEOMETRY.com. Check it out, see what they have, and play with these cards yourself. You'll be amazed on the information you'll get for your information.
Box looks like so.
Oh, the box looks like the back of the card. It says beautiful gold color with an infinity symbol.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Really striking.
Thank
And
you.
is there a little notebook in there also to help guide people who are not familiar with tarot and how to
Well,
do the layouts?
No, there isn't. There's a suggested system of reading if somebody has never read before, but the whole point of having the affirmations and practices on the card is that you don't need a book to read because it's right there on the card in front of you.
yeah. So, but this is the brief instructions of that. So this one card is all
Nice. Well, this is beautiful work, you guys. Bravo. And what else are you working on? How many more projects have you got going together?
Well, Ness, you're the
Yeah. Well, at the next project we're working on with a co-venturer in India, Shashwat Paul, he is working with us to create a meditation app for the phone. It'll be a subscription app, and it will take these almost 1,000 images of sacred geometry with the associated meditations for each of them and make them available daily, weekly, monthly as a rotating meditation for the phones.
Beautiful. So would people, I know you're just working on this at this point, but would people be able to choose like from 1 to 1,000, and
Yes.
then there would be a meditation, the picture will come up and you can focus on that?
Yes, and if they like one or several of them particularly, they can continue to stream that image for themselves in continuity.
That's beautiful.
And
So
the
when
images,
go ahead.
the meditations will be presented silent, with music, with a male voice, and with a female voice, so people can choose what format they'd like to have it in.
That's wonderful. And are you going to have like bedtime versions too to help people sleep?
well, that's a good idea.
We'll take that under advisement.
Okay. Because which one is it? I think it's Calm has their bedtime stories, and
Right.
there's a very soothing voice that tells a story that helps people drift off, like you're a child.
Right.
So
Well,
anyway,
certainly with these beautiful meditations that Ness channels, that would be a wonderful way to put things together. Sounds like a great idea.
and what a great way to float into, if you're going to lucid dream, the places it could take you.
Right. Well, that I believe is the central contribution of Endre's sacred geometries, let alone the words that go with them, is that many of them are portals that take you into the fractally compounded images that people see in certain altered states when they meditate. And this is a wonderful way to use the portals and to go into those states.
It sounds phenomenal. When is it going to be launching? Do you have an idea?
Probably within the next 6 months.
Very exciting. Well, we'll have to know so I could let everybody know about your launch of the app. How
Thank
fun.
you.
That is so exciting. Okay, so let's talk about some of the things you're working on separately, because not only do you collaborate, but you both have your own great businesses on your own. So I'm going to start with Ness. So let's talk about what you're working on separately.
Well, I'm currently preparing the Synergenics life coaching material for public launch, and I'm doing that through a training. If anyone's interested in training really as a universally relevant life coach, they can contact me through your means of contacting us. But basically, they can contact me through synergenics.biz. I want to say that although this is work that I'm doing individually, Endre has been involved in my work and part of my work for the whole time that we've known each other, and he's graciously created special sacred geometrical images for each of the matrices in the life coaching program. So, I'm very grateful for that. And people will be able, again, to go through the portal when they go through that section of life coaching. And basically, what is the Synergenics life coaching program?
You're reading my mind.
It's a program that applies the spiral energy, same as the golden mean, the pi r squared, the Fibonacci numbers, that is present in every aspect of consciousness in form, applied to accelerated personal growth and development. That's what the life coaching program is. So it's an open systems approach for people to be able to work with other people in the content, the unique content of their lives.
That sounds powerful. So how long is the coaching program?
3 years. It's actually 18 months that we have expanded into 3 years. Somebody can accelerate it to 18 months, or they can draw it out to 3 years. And it not only includes the Synergenics material and a master's degree through the internationaluniversity.com, but it also includes an in-depth personal intensive towards mastery in one's own life, and a certificate as a breath practitioner co-signed by Leonard Orr, who's well known for having developed the rebirthing process.
Lovely. And Endre, let's talk about what you've got going on.
Well, I'm constantly making new sacred geometries as they arrive. As I said, I have a new one for Ness. She was just here a few days ago and saw the old ones, so now there's a new one. I'm on the way to on the way to 1,000. I don't know what I'm going to do if I feel like making 1,001, because then I'll be stuck to make 2,000. So, but that and then of course I do a lot of my own photography work. I'm a member of the Professional Photographers Association, and as a matter of fact, well, they have different contests, and then depending on how you score in the contest, they have juries, and so however you score in these contests has to do with your ranking. And so I was a couple of years ago, I was the number 2 photographer in California.
Wow.
So it goes up and down from year to year, but I'm always in the top 10, it seems like. So this year I was number 7. So,
so what's your format? Is it still life or natural environment, people?
I do everything mostly, though I specialize. There's a lot of flowers that I take photographs, and of course flowers are related to sacred geometry.
Yes.
It's maybe a little too much to go into in the weeds in a short form here, but I recently, especially when we got locked down with pandemic stuff, I started to do on macro photography in a process called focus stacking, because if people know about when you take very close up pictures of small things, the depth of field is very shallow. So there's a way of taking hundreds of photos and then combining them into one where all of the in focus parts remain in focus, and it throws out all the rest. And so that's what I've been doing, actually, with rather somewhat larger flowers as well. But so I'm doing I've done a lot of macro photography, little insects and little bugs and flowers that I would not have been able to shoot before, although I had literally hundreds of flowers. I've had my flowers on the covers of magazines, and Shutterbug magazine I wrote an article for them several years ago about my black and white flower photography, and so they wound up putting one of my flowers on the cover of a annual magazine that they have, which was called what was it called? Expert Photo Techniques Guide. And so that article was printed there, and so people can go to my website and see all of my work, and I've got landscapes and flowers and I mean, you name it. There's animals, all kinds of stuff. So that's Endre's art. my name is like Andre, only it starts with an E. So ENDRES and then ART, endresart.com. And so that's you can see all my work at endresart.com.
And is the sacred geometry on
All
endresart.com?
the geometries are there. As I say, I'm kind of behind in posting them, but because I could post 25 in a day, and that people would get overwhelmed. So I post them up whenever I think of it. And so I'm still only up in the late 800s, even though I have already almost 937, as I said. So
Nice.
I bet they'll all get posted up there, and so that also makes it for people who want to see what the new ones are to go there and
to keep coming back for more.
Right, exactly.
Hopefully, right.
So if somebody's I'm going to go back to the tarot cards a second, but if somebody is totally unfamiliar with the use of the tarot cards, how do you guide them? I know you have the information card in there, but if you were going to, like in your video that we're going to put on our blog, what does it say for people to do, how they could, I mean, I know there's a message on the bottom, but how do they look deeper for the message? Are you able to guide somebody who's not familiar with reading cards as to how to read these?
Yes, and that's one of the major reasons we've produced this deck and, made it available to people. People can do a reading. They can take one card at a time. They can take 3 cards, past, present, and future. They can take 7 cards regarding to a degree of consciousness and asking questions. They can pull several cards if they have a question on a certain issue in their life. And at the same time, and I remember being taught this when I was studying mastery of the Tao Te Ching, the Chinese wisdom, that it's able to be used as an oracle to read, just like the tarot card is, but it is primarily a book of wisdom. And I would like to offer, along with Endre, this deck as a tarot deck that is a deck of wisdom, that if you just look at the cards and work with the affirmations and meditations, it will reveal itself.
Wow, that's so cool. That is such a very, very great thing.
Yeah, these cards are something that's never been done before.
Right.
Ness referred earlier to how tarot, especially nowadays, tarot cards have really become very dark. And I mean, you go on Kickstarter, and you see some of the tarot cards that are there, and they're filled with skulls and bones and blood and vampires and God only knows what. And this is to elevate this entire concept to a completely new level, something that is never really, I'm quite sure is unique and has never been done before.
And there is nothing else like it. No other deck has the reading component on the face of the card.
Which is it's really, I mean, I have to get a deck because I need to play with those. Those look like so much fun to get information from. How do they order the cards? Is it on your synergeometry.com?
Yeah.
And then people can see it?
They can click on the menu. The Synergeometry website has the book and the cards. So if they click on the little menu, if they're interested in a book, they can see a sneak peek of several pages, 10 pages of the book. If they're interested in the cards, they can click on the Transformational Tarot, and it will show them the video of the cards, and there's just a button that you click on to order.
Easy breezy. It couldn't be much easier than that. So you were talking about Kickstarter, and though this isn't necessarily a metaphysical question, but it'll help people who want to launch things, whether it's a class or product. What made yours so successful, your campaign?
Well, there was certainly a learning curve, wasn't there, Endre?
Oh yeah. And we actually
we were
help too. If you recall, Marla, we had a private consultation with you on what to do, because you've done some Kickstarter things too, and so we basically just jumped in with both feet and learned how to do it. And that's really, I think, the only way that anybody can do it is to just start and go forward. And that's how we taught ourselves. And now we have two under our belt. So
I would like to say, though, that one of the pieces of magic that Kickstarter provides is you can certainly let everybody in your network know that you have a Kickstarter campaign, and many people in our network graciously and generously supported our Kickstarter campaign. But what happens is that because it's on Kickstarter, everybody that looks at Kickstarter sees the campaign also, and then you're able to be supported by people that are not yet part of your network, and as a result become part of your network.
Wow. Yeah, that's a lot of because it's great for bringing more awareness to who you are too.
Yeah.
And what you do. So on these Kickstarter programs, you put your information so people can check you out personally, your websites.
Yeah. There's our bios and everything, and our story is on the Kickstarter campaign. I have to say, there was one moment of magic in the Transformational Tarot Kickstarter campaign where they, depending on how many people click on your site and the cards and whatever, there were, at the time that we launched, over 1,000 different tarot card decks on Kickstarter. And there was a moment where we were in position number 1 for a short time.
But number one is number one. You can't take it away from you.
No, I took a screenshot of it.
It's like posterity. It's getting for like 5 aces when or deuces when you're paying deuces wild.
That's right.
Exactly.
You've got to take the picture of it.
Exactly.
So I want to go back to Endre about, could you say that the group that you...
Okay, so Paris Chanson. So that is a group of, we have 3 singers, one of whom plays guitar. Husband and wife is 2 of them. And then there's a drummer, bass player, keyboardist, and me. And I essentially am like the, what would be in a band, the lead guitar to the extent.
The lead violin?
Yeah, I'm the lead violin. And so there's a website if people want to look at, our YouTube website is Paris Chanson, Paris, and then Chansons.
Which means songs in French.
Which means singers, Paris singers, and Paris, yeah. And so they specialize in doing French and Russian popular music. So like Edith Piaf and Charles Aznavour and Enrico Macias, and these names will be very familiar to people, especially of Eastern or European origin. And wherever we go, regardless of where we go, the first time we're there, we always sell out, and then they invite us back. And so, as I said, we were in New York, and then we were invited back again. And one of the main reasons for that is, first of all, our shows are terrific fun. We do a show, as I said, at Vibrato once a month, and the place is completely sold out. It's already our show there, which coming up a week from tonight, sold out 2 weeks ago. So. They put in extra tables, and the place is packed completely, and people get up and they're dancing, and then we have conga lines that go around through the restaurant, and it's really wild to see. And I'm used to being a classical musician, so playing Mozart and Beethoven, and then nobody does conga lines with those. But so and the other thing is I get to improvise, which is not in about 80% of what I do in those performances is made up on the spot. So it's always going to be a little different. Of course, I kind of fall into certain things that I discover after a while, or I did this or that, and then I might try to repeat that. But for the most part, except for certain written out parts that have to be from the songs themselves, I do a lot of improvising. And so I never got to do that. I always enjoyed improvising. And unlike most classical musicians, I do enjoy improvising. Many of them can't even conceive of what they would do if they didn't have the music straight in front of them. And so it's in a sense it's channeled on the spot, and so these performances are always a terrific amount of fun, and I would invite anyone who is certainly in the Los Angeles area. We do a show at Vibrato once a month, and so you probably have to get your tickets for the July show now because the June show is sold out. We're booked out there all the way through December of this year.
Wow.
And then we, as I said, we go to the Musical Instrument Museum every year in Phoenix, in Scottsdale, which has one of the most beautiful little auditoriums in the world. We were at the Dakota in Minneapolis every year. The place called the Triple Door in Seattle. We go there. It looks like about twice a year, and then we do 2 shows each time. We've been to Portland. We did 2 shows at the French Embassy in Washington D.C. a couple of years ago.
Wow, wonderful!
So it's terrific fun, and the reason I think that so many of they're so successful is that people, especially in Eastern Europe, growing up, the Beatles and the Rolling Stones, all of the stuff was banned music from Eastern Europe. People never heard that
from communist Europe.
Right. So then they grew up listening to Macias and Aznavour and Piaf, and that music is the music of their childhood. And then now, and nobody does it anymore. I mean, Aznavour is passed on, and nobody really does these things together like that. So wherever we go, we get Armenians and French and Russian and you name it. There's people that it's international. We have these fantastic international audiences who enjoy our programs, and so it's always a terrific amount of fun.
And the beautiful thing about it is whatever you both are doing just opens up that creative flow, which brings the information, the beautiful sacred geometry to you both. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. That's it. I'm blessed by whatever my process has been to get to this point, to be able to channel both artistically in visual art with my photography and certainly the sacred geometry, and then also as a musician. And so I've always been at a very high level playing. I started playing concerts when I was 4 years old. So I started the violin when I was 3.5 and played 9 concerts in public when I was 4. And then the first time as a soloist with an orchestra when I was 6. And I've been the soloist with the Berlin Philharmonic and the Rotterdam Symphony and the Washington Symphony and lots of different orchestras. And then as a recitalist, and then I had a trio, and we traveled around the world for about 30 years doing chamber music, violin, cello, piano trio. And so learning all of that repertoire and performing it all, and that's been a great blessing, and I still do that. And yet also I get to do this whole new way of expressing music and just channeling it on the spot with Paris Chanson,
which is lovely. And Ness,
yes,
you have you do so much as well, because you've got your coaching, you've got the work with Endre. What else do you do to feed your creative fire?
Well, working with people is very, very close to my heart. I've tried to work with what I feel are the most pure practices available that don't require me or any particular methodology to transmit them. So I work with the rhythmic connected breath that in the synergenics work we call the synergenics breath or breathing. And I also work with, when I talk about meditation, we work with something called access, where we use the physiology of a person's body to access their consciousness, and we give somebody access to consciousness through their body physiology, which we all have, but many of us don't know how to turn the switch. So I work a lot with people on how to balance the right and left hemisphere of the brain and go into the holographic centers of the brain, and then select the channel that they wish to use, one of which might be meditation, might be healing, might be compassion, it might be regeneration. That's what's very close to my heart, is transmitting the practices that are the pure tools that other people can use. And to that effect, we have 3 CDs out on the market on a website called lifeloveandlaughter.com, all spelled out. So we have Life is the breath CD, 30 minutes of rhythmic connected breathing recorded live. And every minute there's an inspiring quotation about the breath. Love is the I Love You track, which is mellow synthesizer music with 4 people speaking the words I love you to each other. And the third, Life, Love, and Laughter, is the laughter track on which Endre is actually one of the laughers, one of the people laughing. And we have 30 minutes of natural, relaxed laughter recorded live. And they're presented as the pure tools of life, love, and laughter.
How wonderful. So have you heard from people who have listened to this, the laughter part, that they start laughing along with the track of laughter?
Oh, yes. They either laugh, or if they're really what landmark education used to call on it, if they're on it, they get really angry and then they laugh.
Okay. Well,
No, I'm
sometimes
just-
you
I'm
have to
just
get
kidding.
things out of them, right? We all have to get things up and out, those
Mhm.
repressed things.
I'll share a personal story, if I may.
Sure.
That back in the day, one of my favorite comedians was Gilda Radner.
Yes.
And when I saw the Life magazine cover article that she had ovarian cancer and was at the Wellness Center in Santa Monica, I immediately sent one set of the 3 CDs, Life, Love, and Laughter, to the Wellness Center, and one set for her personally. Well, I immediately heard from the director of the Wellness Center that thanked me for the CDs and said that they were using it with all of their patients. I didn't hear anything from Gilda Radner for about 30 days when I realized that she'd gone back to the East Coast to go through her process. And I got this very touching postcard from her, and it said, this is very moving for me. It said, "Dear Ness, thank you for making me laugh."
Oh,
I know. It's an awe.
It is. And we all know, well, I don't know if we all know, but the Norman Cousins story,
Sure.
where he had stage 4 cancer and they just gave him a short period of time to live. And he sat and watched TV and laughed and he put himself in remission through laughter. Laughter is powerful.
And in fact, he authorized our 3 CDs and was in process of marketing them through his organization when he subsequently passed over of old age.
Well, God bless that he was old age and the cancer didn't take him, right? That he
Really?
fought that. Yes.
Tell me about it.
Absolutely. Give me 1 second. We've got charity shout out, and your charity, this is a combined charity for Ness and Endre, is the United Help Ukraine Haibuki Toy Project. So let's talk about why you both are so passionate about this charity.
Well, let me. This has to do with actually with Julia of our Paris Chanson group. She was born in Ukraine, and but she is in real life a marriage and family child counselor, and so this is a charity that she is involved with, and so it's you're actually anyone who supports that is connected to Paris Chanson via her, and what this is it's an amazing thing that this Habuki was started in Israel, and for helping children who are the victims of or been impacted by terrorism, and in helping them to cope with that. And they make these very special little bear dolls that have long arms and they can hug the children and the children can hug them. and so this part of the project is to provide those kinds of dolls for the children of who've been displaced or whatever because of the Ukrainian problem. And so so that's why it's a really heart opening kind of charity that everyone can get behind, because it has to do with children and bringing wholeness back to children who've been suffered trauma as a result of war.
Yeah, children should not have to go through things like this. It's
No, they
just ridiculous.
shouldn't. I agree. And this war has traumatized and displaced so many children and people. It's heartbreaking, and it's heartbreaking that it's still going on. So I always ask that we send prayers to Ukraine. So this is a good opportunity to, in addition to helping this charity, to help the children of Ukraine, to send prayers.
That's tangible to help those kids that are suffering because of it's no one's fault for them, as far as
right.
they're just innocent bystanders and are suffering for no reason. So
exactly.
This is a terrific charity for that reason, and I think everybody, regardless of their politics, can get behind it. So
yeah, we both support it fully.
It's a beautiful charity. So it's the UnitedHelpUkraine.org/archive/4779. You can find this link on the blog so that you can participate in whatever capacity you can. $1, $2, $10, anything is helpful, to help these children for something they did not ask to participate in.
We did a benefit performance just for that and raised over $2,000 for it. So and you can imagine how many of these little they're very specialized. It's not just like buying a stuffed toy. I mean, these are specialized therapy creatures that have been researched, and people who in Israel have done a lot of work with researching how they work with these children, and they actually I'm sure that what happens beyond the just giving them this doll, there's a lot of therapy that helps these children to cope better.
Nice, very nice. Well, thank you for sharing this charity. It's well needed, and it's an important one. So thank you both, Ness and Endre. So what have I not asked you about that you'd like to let everybody know about? I'm going to start with Ness.
Well, I'd like to just say something more about the Synergenics life coaching process. That usually we do trainings as a group process, and people meet once a month, or they're on Zoom or whatever. But this time what we're doing is working with people individually. So I'd like to ask that anyone that's watching this podcast that is actually interested in becoming a life coach as a form of service in their lives, that they contact me through you, and I'll discuss that with them.
Perfect. Well, you have a website, a way of contacting you. So if they want to do this, where do they contact you directly?
Well, they can contact me, www.synergenics, SYNERGENICS.biz, BIZ, or they can contact me through Spirits blog, SPIRITS blog.com.
Perfect. Thank you. And Endre?
I covered pretty much everything. I would urge people to go visit my website and endresart.com and also visit our website, which is synergeometry.com, and look at all that we have to offer over there, and purchase the tarot cards, and I'm sure that those are going to be things that will impact their lives positively for years to come.
Wonderful.
Also, people can go on to pixels.com, which is the same as fineartamerica.com, and they can look for Synergeometry-productions, and all of the different sacred geometries with the meditations can be put on a variety of different products: t-shirts, tote bags, phone cases, blah, blah, blah.
Posters. artworks.
posters, mugs, whatever.
I love that because somebody might want to use, so if somebody wanted to use, and I don't know if this is an Endre or a Ness question because you're both a part of it, but if somebody wanted to use an image with the writing for a book that they're writing, how, can they do that by pixels.com or do they go to you directly and get permission? How does that work?
Endre,
Well,
why don't you take that?
Yeah, I mean, I get requests. Oh boy, must be at least once a week, maybe more, from people who see my sacred geometry and say, "Oh, can I use it for this, that, or the other?" And so I always have to think what it is that they want it for. So I do license things out. There's a group of people that were building a. This is an interesting story. They were putting together some storage places, and then their first storage place was renovating in downtown Los Angeles, right across the street from a downtown Los Angeles inner city school. And they had taken over this place that was full of barbed wire and graffiti and all kinds of stuff. And so they completely redid it, and then they purchased from me very large. They made them, I think they were 7 feet by 7 feet, sacred geometry of mine, which hangs on the wall on the outside of that, and it faces the school, and the kids looking out the window in the school can see one of my sacred geometries, and it's uplifting them as we speak. So
how wonderful for the kids.
Yeah,
really.
They get bored, they start looking out the window, they can get mesmerized and taken on a journey.
Exactly.
I'm sure the teachers wouldn't be too happy about that, but it certainly is better for their minds.
Certainly help them to focus and in general, and also to be I'm sure it may even help with their classroom behavior. So
Well, you don't know, right? And how wonderful. I mean, if the teacher was knowing about meditation, what a great thing to have everybody turn to the window
Right.
and look at the sacred geometry and take them into a journey and then bring them back out, especially if you're doing something like English where you have to do creative writing and come up with some story or something, whatever's going on with them. What a great catalyst for creativity.
And Endre tells me that they have a request for 6 other large sacred geometries to go on buildings in downtown Los Angeles already.
So instead of those angel wings that have popped up all over the United States, we're going to have Endre's sacred geometry, or maybe you can do your image from sacred Synergeometry, so it has the message underneath. How beautiful is that?
Yeah, well, that's another thing that these people were planning, this on the inside of their storage places, to have some of these posters of our work with the meditations, and so we'll see what happens then. So, but as I say, I get requests all the time. I screen them because somebody wants to use it for, I don't know, a witchcraft store or something.
Right.
Do that, but the other thing is that
well, it has to be congruent to your message, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I like to be careful of my brand, and I want to make sure that I'm. And so when people ask me for something, is they want to use it on their website or they want it on their. I like to know a bit about them, and then I tailor the price of what it's going to cost depending on what their
usages,
their messages, exactly. So I mean, every request is different, but as I say, I get gee whiz, I have 2 or 3 requests certainly every month, and almost at least once a week, if not more. So people see my sacred geometry and just want to use it for something. There's a website. It's called, I think it's called sacredgeometryart.com or something like that, and they have they collect together all the best sacred geometry artists in the world, and so there's Steve Gray, and there's all the different kinds of people that are very famous, and I've been their featured artist on the front of their webpage for gosh, months now. I mean, and so
Well, they only have a couple to choose from, right?
well, yeah, they have it's about 100 that are there, but those are people who are the best of the best, I guess, so I'm honored to be on that website, and especially to be on their cover page. So it's terrific.
How wonderful. So here, audience, there's another opportunity. If you love this Synergeometry book and there's an image that you'd like to have licensed, reach out to Ness Carroll or Endre, and maybe you can use, some of their words and their images to help motivate your group of your tribe.
Right.
Yeah.
We're totally happy to do that.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, I'm so happy to have you both back. You've got so much going on. I can't believe it's been a year. And in a year, since right before you launched Sacred Geometry, did I say that right? Synergeometry, not sacred. I'm getting confused. But
Here, I'll show the book again. So there we are.
the Synergeometry, thank you. It's so beautiful. My favorite colors. You guys have been a little bit busy, I have to say. So may you continue with your success and the growth of your collaboration, because it's
Thank
so
you.
powerful.
Thank
And
you.
Thank
Yeah.
you for taking the time for coming back and being a part of Guided Spirit Conversations and sharing everything with the audience. So grateful for you.
It's always a delight to get to talk to you and to see you, and so hope we'll get to do it again soon.
Hopefully,
Yeah,
and hopefully I'll
privilege
go.
and a pleasure.
Always for me too. And I hope that I'll go out west and be able to see you out there.
Yeah,
So
That would be great.
it'll be so much fun. I want to take the time to thank Bridget, my right arm, my left arm, for all you do, because God only knows where I'd be without you. So thank you so much. I want to thank you, the listening audience, for taking time out of your day, out of your life, to being a part of this show. I put this show together for you because I want to bring you some of the most amazing people across the globe, such as Endre and Ness, and their talents and what they do and how they can work with you or help you in your process throughout your time on this earth. So thank you. I want to remind you that a Twist of Energy Summit will start on the 1st of July. So please look for them at twistofenergy.com. I will be one of the featured speakers on there, the interviewee guests. So thank you. If you're going to be in Charlotte on Friday, I'll be back at the Bag Lady at 1516 East 4th Street. Stop in, say hello. Would love to have a chat with you. Love to meet you. And as I leave you, I send you love, blessings, and gratitude. Know how grateful I am that you're in my life in whatever capacity you're in it. And if you haven't heard these words today, let me say them to you. I love you. You are loved. You are never alone. You may feel like it sometimes, but you're not. And remember to ask your angels, your guides, your guardians, all those on the other side for what it is you need help with, your support, guidance. They will then start working on your behalf, but you need to ask them for them to start to help you. So don't forget to ask for what you need. And until next week, I send you my love. Stay well, stay healthy, and take care. Bye for this week.